All right, everybody. What is going on? This is a little town meeting here for the community. I obviously sprung this one on you, and that's surprise. I hope you're having a good Sunday. Is it Sunday? Yeah, it's Sunday. So I'm going to let you guys know right now. I have been just kind of struggling in the background a little bit, just with my own like health, like just feeling like garbage 24/7. Kids have been going through it, so I just want you guys to know that's why we've kind of had an off schedule this last week. But going forward, we're going to be trying to stick to most of the weekdays. So that's what we're going to try to get to. What's up, everybody? Good to see you. I wanted to give everybody an update because a lot of the Patreons and a lot of the members have gotten a lot of the updates, but I feel like just as a general community, we haven't really talked about what's going on. I can't share details, but I just feel like I want to tell you guys what's happening and then also let you guys know why the show has been, just at least this week, has been kind of slow, and like I haven't seen you guys in a while, which I miss you guys. So right now, you guys know, since 2020, I've tried to tell my family story. And I'm not dwelling on it because, as you guys know, we talk about a lot of other things. But for me personally, like the 2020 Netflix documentary was supposed to be a one and done situation. I was supposed to tell my family story, and maybe it worked out the way it did for a reason. I'll never be able to say, but it just didn't work out the way I had intended it to. And it's obviously very hurtful to see that it become so case focused and way less victim focused and way less family focused and way less faith focused. So with all that being said, my entire goal has been to try to tell the story for the accuracy of the history of what actually was happening, because what I see every time is sensationalism, and then I see the same exact points being made in different lights. So you guys, we talk about media all the time. It feels like everybody just kind of says the same thing over and over and over. So my goal has been to try to do this like one and done situation where I can try to tell the story the most accurately and honestly as possible, because in doing that, you guys would understand more than if anything else you would see. If you just see the headlines, if you just see these things, you just get a little snippet of this without any context, in a sense. And then it doesn't honor the victims at all. Like, you don't walk away knowing anything more about these victims. And I hate to call them that, but like in this case, my family members are victims to Lori. And so that's how they are seen and portrayed. They're seen in that light. And they are really the byproduct of Lori, right? They're the byproduct of Chad. But the story is always focused on them. So what I'm doing right now is just working on telling that story in a different way. I'm also working on telling my own personal story because, as weird as that sounds, it is different than this whole thing. My family story is a part of that history. And you guys know, like with my health stuff, I've genuinely considered like how much time I even have in life, and not to be dramatic, just reality. And when you feel that way and you know that your story and your family story, and they're not here to tell it, hasn't been told, there's almost not a pressure, but a sense of I need to try to help people understand what the reality was. I'm the only one left besides Lori who understands that story. And she's obviously not going to tell you the truth. So again, I just want you guys to know that that's something that I'm working on. I know our channel has changed, our community has changed and kind of pivoted into different topics and things like that. But my heart is always going to be in trying to help people tell their stories accurately. That way you actually know what somebody went through or like the reality of it. Because what happens is you always get the most crazy parts. And that's always just like, it's almost like giving you a plate and it's like, here's the main course. That's all you get. So for accuracy and for kind of a family history, because I think about there's a generations that are going to come up that don't know the story at all. And I'd like them to know who JJ was, who Charles was, who Tylee was, and hopefully get some people who knew more about Tammy as well, and to be able to tell that story accurately. That has been a goal of mine though for a very long time. And when you have your story told through someone else's viewpoint, and how they want to curve it and turn it into their version of it because it's better for their business or better for whatever reason they did that story, it's very, very hard to bounce back from that. So I just want to say thank you guys for giving me the platform and creating community with me that has allowed this opportunity. And I say that because you guys standing with me has given me the confidence to realize that sharing your story can help other people. And that has always been the goal. There's really no other benefit to telling these stories. It really is the next person getting something out of it. One thing I've tried to focus on is talking about having, family issues or issues with your mom and growing up in a certain circumstance or religious mindset, anything that I've ever learned that I've gone through or made mistakes in, it could easily be turned into a lesson for the next person. So that is the goal. But really, in this documentary or in this story or in this book or whatever it is that comes out, the goal is to tell you guys what it was like. You guys know everything else. I mean, and if you really watch one of those, you kind of have seen them all. That's just the honest to God truth. And it's no disrespect to the people involved, but you guys don't know what it was like in the trenches in the moment. And I didn't either until I got older. So until I got older and I started going to therapy and I lived away from Lori, I didn't know what my life was like as a kid. But as a parent now, I look back and I go, I would never do that to my kid. I would never say that to my kid. I would never ever put my kid in this position. I would never have conversations about these things with my kids. I wouldn't expose them to these movies. I mean, I go on and on and on. And I think maybe that's always good for everybody is to do things differently from what you learn, right? But there's some serious, serious stuff there. So again, that is where I've been at. Now, as far as our channel goes, you guys I don't know if I can ever really articulate this well, but this channel is definitely just feels like it's a part of me. Our community has gathered around tragedy and turned that into a community. And that is why I like having discussions with you guys. And I want to hear your opinions on life outside of just crimes and things like that. But the other part of what I'm trying to do is get other people to know that this is a platform for them. This is a place for them to come on this podcast or this channel and let them know that this is the place where they can go without having to be edited or without having to be structured into telling their story a certain way or trying to expose them. Because what I think you can learn from somebody who's gone through a lot is how to apply lessons that they're giving you to your own life. So basically, if I talk to someone who's unbelievably resilient, I want to know, hey, how are you doing now? How are you surviving now? Yes, this happened to you in your life, but I want to know more about you. I want to learn from you. And I want to hear your story without people coming in here to chop it up, to make it about money, make it about whatever the case is, production. Like, forget all of that. Just tell your story. And so I want you guys to know that there is nothing more important to me than doing that for myself, because I learned how media works, and then giving that back to the community. So yeah, I appreciate that a lot. And I'll address this too. This is a great point. There's so many times where I've gone in and seen people saying Colby shouldn't be talking about this. He's grifting off of this story. He's blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, how would it make sense for you to hear a story about my family from a person who's never met them, who's paid to report on it? Okay. And this is no shade at these people, right? This is just a blanket statement across the whole thing. You'd rather hear the story from people who heard it from someone else, who heard it from someone else, who heard it from someone else, or I can tell you the reality of what was going on. I don't know. It's up to you. Yeah, I didn't know all the case stuff. I didn't do the studying. I wasn't paying attention to all that. I didn't have all these things, and everybody did their part. But the accuracy is within the authenticity of experiencing it. And that's something I don't think you guys have ever honestly had, is really a full circle story. And that to me shows that outside of what media does these days, we can take the narrative back by telling our stories. And that is why this channel was started and exists. If you guys remember when I first came back to YouTube, because we had done YouTube for a while, all the way back to 2017. Just random videos uploaded, doing prank challenges, fun stuff like that. And then when everything started, I started kind of vlogging and turning the channel into like, hey, this is how we're living everyday life. We're still going to enjoy life. We're still going to try to be, count our blessings. We're still going to try to give our daughter a normal life and things like that. But then I really started understanding my love for storytelling is the fact that I know in this scenario that I can give you the reality of how it was. And that matters to me. And then you get to know who these people are. And that's the legacy that's left for them because nobody is able to really speak for them other than people who were really there. And again, no shade at all these other people who have loved and cared about Tylee and JJ, but I'm talking about from a real perspective of telling your story. You need people who are involved. And so that's where all this has to at some point culminate, in my opinion. Everybody has to get together and be able to tell the accurate story, the reality of it, and not the sensational of it. So it is what it is. People say things, and that's okay. It's the internet. I think for the internet, our community is seriously such a beautiful, amazing place because the internet is brutal and people just pop in and drop their opinion and leave. And they're always hiding behind, their keyboard, and they're hiding behind their fake profile, which is like 99% of the time. They'll always have some profile that's like obviously not their real name or anything like that. And the internet just become that, right? I can't even really blame them because the internet has just become this place where we just like don't really feel real world consequences. But I've always felt different. I've always felt like what you say on a celebrity's post means something. What you say in these comment sections and things like that, if you really are like saying things, you understand that it still counts. You're still doing it, and it's still public and it's still being seen. And I'm going to tell you probably a lot of the times those celebrities probably see that stuff because you'll hear them every once in a while say the things that somebody negative said, right? And it's like, how do we even get to this place where like we forgot that this is real life? Like the stuff we're talking about is real life. So anyway, I don't want to rant. You guys know I could talk all day to you about anything. But unfortunately, I just have not seen anything that really just truly honors the reality of my family. And I would love to do the same thing for Tammy, but like I've said before, I can't speak to her life because she was not my family member. She's not somebody that I knew. And so it wouldn't be fair for me to jump in and try to give my opinion on her life or her legacy. But I will stand against anybody trying to tarnish that or trying to lie about her because we have clear evidence that she would never have these health problems and died on her own and things like that. That's all BS. And so even though I've never met Tammy in my life, I do have a soft spot for her, and her legacy should not be left to people who are going to lie about her. So that's where I'm at. That's where the channel is like, we're still going to continue to do the show and talk about different things. Working on a lot of the people know who are like in the Discord, you guys know, I'm trying to get, some good guests on our show. And there's a difference. I saw someone did say something like in the last episode with Ray that you guys wanted to hear his story. That's more where the podcast side is. That's where like I would sit down with him and let him talk as much as he needs to. In our shows, that's the whole point, is that it's a different format. And so I'm not trying to ask him a million things and get him to open up in the show. That was actually the whole reason why we did a show, just to have fun together. And I think that was what I was trying to show all of us, is that this community is more reflective of your real life. There's days where you're really sad. There's days where you're really upset, when you just need support, when you're angry, when you're having the best time of your life, you're having a good day, on and on and on. I feel like that's what this channel reflects and this community reflects, is how we feel. We don't have perfect days, every day. And so I feel like this channel has been a good example of that, where you guys have allowed me to feel how I feel. And you guys have seen me just peel back the cuss, whatever, a case of cussing when we were watching those trials. And it was just in that moment, I was just kind of, I think, just letting it out. Obviously, sometimes I'm like, I wish I wouldn't have cussed that much at you guys, whatever the case is. But yeah, I really do. I feel like there's a responsibility as the survivor of the situation, who was involved, to be able to tell the accuracy of the story. Now, another thing I want to address, I'm not harboring on this all day, every day. And I want that to be clear. That is why I did this on this channel. And you can believe what you want. I really don't care. The reality is I watched those trials because, number one, I felt safe in our community to know I had support. Because I'm going to be honest with you, I wouldn't have watched them alone. Not gonna happen. But what I wanted to do was just like the questions that I just kept. I don't know if you guys have been through this, but if you've lost someone who's been killed and there's just so many questions, but like I have two complexes there, right? It's the people I love who were killed, and then somebody that I loved who did the killing. So it's both. And with that complexity comes a lot of questions. And in those questions are, okay, well, what happened here? And the only way you get those kind of questions answered is when they show that discovery and that evidence in those cases, because that is where the unbiased, case stuff comes out and you learn facts. So you cut all the BS and you learn the facts, you learn the texts, you learn the conversations, things like that. And so when we covered that stuff on the channel, it allowed me to move forward. And like there's just so many times where I used to sit there and be like, you know, what was going on with JJ? And like there's still questions that I'm gonna have, but a lot of that stuff closed because I did the channel. I mean, I did the watching on the channel with you guys, and those facts are in there. And so that allowed me to let those questions go and just say, okay, some things are never gonna have answers, and that's okay. Like I guess I can accept what I'll never know. And I'm gonna just say this, and I hope this reaches everyone as clear as I can possibly be. Trying to figure out Lori's and Chad's and the whole group's mental state. It will never bring you fruit. You will never, even if they told you every reason why they did what they did, you would never be able to conceptualize it. You will never understand it, because even if they say, well, this is why I did it, you'd be like, well, how could you do that? They could tell you exactly, and it would never make sense. And so there's so many people so stuck on trying to figure out, okay, here's like what this is how she got here. Let me explain something to you. The way she got here was the moments in life that I can tell you that that's what I noticed that led to this place, and it still doesn't make sense. Right? Like those moments were not normal. I've told you guys some of those moments. If you've read in my book, I shared some of that stuff. And even from there, I've dramatically changed from writing my book. And there's like so much that I've learned and grown in my own self, in my own past, understanding about the dynamic between me and Lori and my dynamic with everybody I was around. It's crazy. And I feel like a completely different person now compared to when even I was, writing the book. So because of all that, like I said, I feel there was a responsibility to do the ultimate thing, which is honor the people who are gone by telling their story. And then from there, you can take it for what it is, but nobody's done it yet. So that's my goal. And I just want to say thank you guys for just supporting our community. You support each other, and I see it. And also just thank you for supporting me. And you've had my back through a lot of this hard stuff. Like it has not been easy. And man, I can't say enough about that. I can't say enough thank yous. I can't say that. I can't tell you what it means to me. Anytime I feel like I'm failing you guys at anything, I feel really bad. And I just want you guys to know that, because I mean that. Like anytime I feel like, okay, I need to make sure they know what's up, or I didn't communicate effectively with our community, or I've been missing for a couple days, and then I get, I'm overwhelmed in life, but at the same time, like it's still that's how important you guys are. Like the community is on my mind. I see your names. I've seen a lot of you for years. And even if you're new, it doesn't matter, because just being here shows that there's something beautiful in life. And this is why I always spend so much time on mental health, because you have no idea how alone I was. I can't even I can't tell you. I can't tell you the loneliness that I felt. And I just felt like no one is ever going to understand anything that I've ever have gone through. And I feel like a Martian. Like I'm just by myself on this planet. And that was part of that mental health problem. I was like, God, I don't know what you expect from me. Like, I'm not going to blame you for everything that's happening, because I know you give people free will, but I don't know what you want me to do, how to respond to this. How do you respond to this? There's not a moment of rest, right? And it went so hard from 2019 to 2025. It was endless. And I kind of turned my head to it. I'm not going to lie. I couldn't face it. I couldn't face hearing what happened to Tylee or JJ. I couldn't handle the facts. I couldn't handle knowing how evil they were. I just didn't have it. And I thought I was going to be like that for my whole life. And I thought I was never going to have normal life or friends or anything. I don't know. I'm just telling you exactly how I felt, because if you ever feel that way, it's just not true. That's just the devil trying to get you to shut down on yourself. And that's the number one tool I think that Satan does, is that he makes you shut down yourself. He makes you doubt yourself to a point where you put yourself down, and he doesn't even need to do it. I don't know if you've ever seen that picture. There's like a picture of the devil putting his foot on you, and then after a while you submit to that, and then he removes his foot and knows that you are just going to do it for yourself. And so I just want to encourage you that that is not how life is, and the moment is not going to dictate everything. Your life might change forever, right? Like my life has changed multiple times, where it just like completely shifted from what I thought it was going to be. Like new timeline has been opened up. Like I'm no longer on the main quest. I have now completely 180'd from that. I'm doing another quest here. But that is the point, is that life is unpredictable. And if I could tell you one thing in my life that I could help you guys today, is just to trust in God, because he sees what you don't. And when you are struggling, you're not alone. And if you need just this, like that community, this is why I want to have our community meet together and have conversations about things going on in the world and just keep us together. That's it. If you guys just want to sit here and talk like this every day, let's do that. Forget the show. We'll just hang out like this. We'll just freaking talk. I don't care. As long as we just have something to do together as a community, that's all that matters. That's all that matters, man. Oh, man. It's just crazy. It's crazy because I never expected to be here. I can tell you there's so many dark days where I said there's just no point in trying to tell people stories. Like, I don't know. And I was like, everybody just cares about Lori, and no one cares about Tylee and JJ and Charles. And then I'm like, well, I can't even tell Tammy's story because I don't know Tammy, and I don't even know how to explain how I feel about her, because there's just something about my heart that just feels for her. Like there's just something so tangible there, and I just can't explain it. But then at the same time, I didn't want to say anything, because it's like, well, I don't want to say anything wrong. I don't want to upset her family. Oh, it's just so complex, man. This is a weird situation to face with so many complexities and so many people involved. And then I didn't know how to feel about Alex. He was just like, it happened so fast, man. I wish I could explain to you, to go from Charles being murdered, then the whole rest of the year is going by. We just had Riley, and I'm working and just trying to like provide, and I changed jobs. And then next thing I know, I get called and Alex is gone. And then that same day, same freaking day, we find out that night that Chad and Lori were in Idaho. The press release comes out that night at like midnight or something like that. And it just took off like a rocket, man. Just blew, just literally from like stationary to absolutely blowing off. Cause like I hadn't even dealt with what happened with Charles. I hadn't dealt with that yet. And then all of a sudden it's like Alex and all this stuff. I mean, it was crazy. So, but what I'm not going to allow to happen is for the history of Tylee, JJ, Charles, and Tammy to be overlooked, so that way we can basically, in a sense, prioritize Lori's story. Like, I'll tell you what, if you want the truth of Lori, she had a lot of issues her whole life, and one day she just gave up and just fully indulged herself, fully indulged her desires. And it truly is as simple as money and wanting to be with somebody who wanted her more than anything in the world. That is as simple as it gets. All that religious stuff is just thrown in there. It's just excuses. That's really all it is. And it's crazy because it's sad how simple it really is. It's sad. It truly is that simple. It's selfishness at its core. And There's everyone's trying to figure this out and make it more complex than it really is. It's not complex, unfortunately. It just almost makes it seem like better if there was actually a reason, you know? Oh, well, that's what we do as humans. We look for reasons. We need a beginning, a middle, and an end. Our brains work a certain way. And that's what we look for. We look for answers. There's not always an answer, man. And if there is, it's not everything is for this lifetime. Not everything is about knowing on earth everything. Some things are meant for heaven. Some things are meant for God. And you know what? Sometimes I think you got to just surrender that. Like I'll never know what happened to Tylee. I can accept that. Maybe one day technology will be there and a part of me dreads hearing that. I don't even want to I don't know if I want to know. I don't know if I want to know what happened to Tylee. But at the same time, that's a question I have and it'll always be there. So some things I've accepted, hey, this is just not for now. This is truly for when you die. Maybe God will tell you, maybe he won't. I don't know. I don't know. No, I get it. I get it. And that's another thing you guys should know. Um, the show has been going on at night because just of my schedule. Hopefully, though, I'll be able to rechange that because I know you guys are in so many different time zones. And so hopefully we'll be back in during the day. It won't be at night. Because I know for some of you guys, it's way too late. And I get that. I totally understand. What's up, Rio? It is. I don't think anybody really will tell you or give you a guide that radical acceptance is the hardest thing. It just is. You're sitting there and you have to just accept it because there's just no game you can play with your mind. There's just nothing you can tell yourself to make it seem like, oh, this is worse or this is better or my mind's going to try to do this, you know? You know? It's just hard. I don't know. But you know what? I want to encourage you that your life your life is so much more out of your hands. And maybe some of you are not going to like what I'm about to say, but it will free you so fast. If you just surrender control and you control you, if you focus on you, and of course, you have your kids, you take care of them, you take care of the people that depend on you, but your life is so out of your hands. It's not even funny. You don't have control over what happens in the next 30 seconds, but worrying about what happens in the next 30 seconds will not change what happens. It's a great way to live to start surrendering more and more of what you cannot control. And once you get your hands off of what you can't control, you will stop worrying. And it's so funny. God talks about this in the Bible like 100 million times. And it's just that simple. Like we're overcomplicating letting go. We're overcomplicating it. We're like, well, how am I going to do this? That's the root of anxiety. But guess what? Most anxiety doesn't produce fruit. It doesn't get you where you need to be. And I had to learn that I had such anxiety about saving Lori's soul. As crazy as that sounds. I'm like, she's going to go to hell. She's blaspheming God. I feel like I need to get through to her because maybe she's been deceived so badly and maybe I can reach into with God and be the mouthpiece because she'll trust me and she'll listen to me. And I thought I could save her. I can't save her. And it's not my job to. And the second I talked to her, I learned that I can't save her. I learned right there. You cannot save someone who doesn't want to be saved. And that is where I learned, okay, this is how God works. This is how God works. He allows you to make your decisions. And when I talked to her and I interviewed her, that's when I knew. That's when I knew. I gave up all of that idea of it's my job to save her, or it's my job to try to fix this, or it's my fault, or if I was a better kid, she wouldn't be crazy. Or if I would have, helped her out more around the house, maybe she would have been less stressed and that she wouldn't have snapped at some point. Like, you see how crazy that is? None of this is my fault. I did not make her do this. I did not choose her decisions for her. And I didn't make her keep choosing the same bad decisions. She did that on her own. But I took that responsibility on, and it was killing me, making it seem like it's my fault. If I were a better, if I would have paid more attention to her religious beliefs, if I would have asked more questions, if I would have done this, it's like, let it go. You know why? Because you're just nothing you can do to change it. If you play the what if game, you'll never stop. You'll never stop. All you can do is try to be more aware and learn the lessons. But in the moment, that's what people miss. Later on, you get all these puzzle pieces and you put it together and you say, oh, that makes so much. How did you not see that one? How did you miss that one? That's a big one, you know? And you're like, well, yeah, because you have the whole pie. I had crumbs. I was living in the moment. Now later you can hear the story and say, oh wow, this makes sense now because here we are with the culminated vision. But in the moment, you don't know all those things. I had no idea she was cheating with Chad. Are you kidding me? Like I had no idea. Like, you know how many times I was shocked when we were watching those trials? I'm like, what? How did I not know this? Like there's parts I can admit to you, I had no idea were going on a lot. It's unfortunate, but I didn't know. So I just learned to say, okay, I get it. It's not my job to try to fix this. It's not my job to try to make life change because I can't change life. You know what? I can't go and save the people who are gone. I wish I could, but I can't. So radical acceptance really just rocks in that realm of you're not in control. That's it. It's that simple. And it will free you. It will. It will free you to stop trying to control your life. It just doesn't work. I hate to break that to you, but it doesn't work. You can only do what you can do, but you can't control another human being no matter what, or an outcome. All you can do is that your outcome is how you respond to what life throws at you, and then you are responsible for what you do in life that would cause problems, or everything has a reaction. So let's just put it that way. You do something, there's a reaction to that thing. That's simple. So you try to be aware of how you are, but guess what? To do that, you got to clear your mind. You like that little swim? You like this little Michael Phelps? You got to clear your mind, baby. You got to clear it. And then you can start to be a more present in the moment. I'll be honest with you. I started being more of a doom scroller, and I didn't even have social media for a long time. And I started doom scrolling again. I'm like, what am I doing? This is just like so unfruitful. Like 99% of what I see has no merit. It is literally just there, just entertainment. And there's nothing wrong with that every once in a while, but like once you start using your time like that, it starts giving you more anxiety and more comparison and more fear, more worries and more doubts. So be careful what you're watching. I got to listen to myself sometimes too, man. Because that doom scrolling is not getting you anywhere in life. It's just hours of your time. And we're trying so hard to like live outside the moment. Like we want to numb ourselves. When you've been through a lot, your number one thing is I just want to like, just to survive today, I need to numb this out. I need to not feel. I need to breathe. I need to do something else because I hate the way I feel right now. And I can't function like this. So I need some relief. And so what am I going to do? And then go from there. You figure out how you're going to do that. And a lot of times really it's just simple. Just occupy your mind with other things. Turn on a show, and there's nothing wrong with those things. But when it starts to take every day and it has the driving seat, I think that's when it's a problem. Is it dark as frick in here? It looks dark as frick on my phone. There we go. Wow. I guess it's brighter on my screen than what you guys see. There you go. Okay. Anyway, I absolutely love you and our community. I thought I would just be super raw and vulnerable with you. I guess I'll just end by telling you this. Yeah, I'm having a really hard time right now. I need to go to the doctor again. I'm not having symptoms. I'm not having like really bad things happening with my body. I'm not going numb, which I'm so grateful for. I'm always going to be grateful for that because it's such a terrifying feeling and it's such a fear and anxiety and worry every moment of the day when I'm going through those health things. But as of right now, I am exhausted 24/7. So I really got to see if there's something else happening. But it's hard for me. It's like I'm just drained. And I think there's a lot of reasons for that, but yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm drained and I'm trying to keep my mind clear enough to make good decisions that are going to affect my kids. And then I feel like I also want to make good decisions that helps me tell the legacy of my family. And that is it. So uh sometimes I have moved our shows. This whole week has just been hard. So I moved our shows around, but it doesn't mean that I don't care. Like I always will care. And I wish I could do more. I wish I could do a million more things, and hopefully I'll have the opportunity to give more to you guys and give more of that back. And hopefully that will happen soon. It's just all about the process and it takes time. But I love you guys. I love our community. I'm grateful for all of you. And I'm going to say a lot of you guys have, like I said, just stuck through so much hardship and been here for so many hard things in my life. So thank you. Thank you very much for that. And that means a lot to me. And hopefully I can give you something back in that way. I don't know what it is, but I'll give you my heart and soul on this channel. And hopefully the things we do and we talk about will help you. That's all that matters. But I love you guys, man. Thank you for being patient. A lot of you guys have been very, very patient with me. But I'm gonna continue to work hard to make sure that you're getting what you need, and updates, especially when I have updates. Like I said, though, I really haven't had. It's just been a struggle because there's been so many things I want that are so close that are about to happen. Like even just having guests, and things just don't work out. And I don't blame them for their scheduling not working out or whatever the reason is. Right? Everyone's a human being, but it's just sad because I'm like so excited about certain things happening, and when they don't happen, I guess I just feel disappointed, and then I feel like I'm gonna disappoint you if I tell you it's going to happen and it doesn't. So I'm trying to not jump the gun there. But anyway, I just thank you for letting me update you. I love you. I will see you guys very soon. We do have a live for tonight that I'm gonna move just till tomorrow, and I have a really good. I was gonna have you know what? I'll save all of that. But what I will say is this: tomorrow, I think is going to be really beneficial for you guys because I'm going to give you some of those practical things in the mental health world that will help you, so you can be focused every day and help you be able to see, outside that moment of that hurt, and even when you're in the worst positions, to be able to take some steps forward and be able to just fight for another 30 seconds. And I'm going to ask you that today in case any of you are in that place. Just give me 30 more seconds at a time. Don't even think about the next minute. Don't think about the rest of the day. Don't think about dinner. Unless you're cooking it, don't burn it or get it out of the crock pot, whatever you got to do. But do not worry about the whole rest of this week. Just go 30 more seconds if you have to. So that way you finally learn to just start to feel the burden lifted off of you, and trust God. Trust God, man. I would not be here if I wasn't trusting God. I wouldn't be here. There's no Colby's this amazing, strong, independent person, never leaned on anybody. No, I was praying to God all the time. And I'm grateful that he's even helped me survive everything I've seen just to be in this moment with you today. So love you guys, man. Thank you guys. And I will see you soon.